is built for code switching. Code switching is basically the changing of one's language, dialect, and demeanor to fit the atmosphere that you're currently in. One of the best to do it, and on one of the biggest stages, was our very own past President Obama. You see here him shaking the hand of the assistant coach of the U.S. basketball team, and then right next to him, shaking the hand and embracing Kevin Durant, just a little bit different than the one before. So he definitely was a professional at code switching, and you guys got an opportunity to see it. Now, some of the things that come natural.
Miss Stephanie,
Hey,
welcome. Welcome. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Watch out now. Watch out.
How are you, my friend?
You know what? I would tell you something bad, but then I'll be lying to you, so I ain't even gonna do it to you.
Um,
I'm blessed as well.
um,
So we bring this topic right here, code switching.
yeah.
Sometimes some people know what it is, some people don't. I showed that video to kind of gear people up to find out what code switching is. But before we do that, of course, we got to go ahead and tell everybody who we are. So, for everybody who don't know, my name is Maranthony Hubbard. I am the owner and founder of Speak to My Heart Life Coaching. And if you don't know what life coach is, it's somebody that holds you accountable for whatever actions you are. And what I mean by that is everybody have goals. And if you have goals, I'm here to hold you accountable to those goals. It's just that easy. So I'm gonna let Miss Stephanie do her little introduction here.
Hey, Stephanie Hollins Passmore. I am a marriage and family therapist, a licensed mental health counselor here in the Pacific Northwest. I am the sole practitioner for the Narrative Shift LLC, counseling and consultation. I work with a diverse group of individuals, adults, children, couples, and the family system. And what I do in my day-to-day work is I facilitate healing, recovery, discovery, um, all of that in between. So that's what I do. That's part of my identity.
Your identity.
My
Okay.
identity.
All right. So, we're gonna jump into this code switching thing a little bit, but before we start, I'm gonna give you an example of what some cases of code switching is. Hold on for a minute. Let me get this one up here for you.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Hey. Greetings. What's up? Howdy? No, that doesn't even sound right coming out of my mouth. These are some of the things that you may not have to think about. But me, I wake up every morning and I look in the mirror and I try to figure out how can I present myself to this world without being seen as a threat. Actually, how can I present myself to this world without being seen as a threat and also remaining myself at the same time? That's tough.
All right. So just even with that little clip right there, and before we actually get on to what code switching is, and because there's many definitions of code switching. So if you look in the dictionary or anywhere, whenever you look up code switching is going to say that it's all about you kind of assimilating yourself to something. That would be one definition of it. And the second definition of code switching would be people who speak that's bilingual or multilingual. And so if I spoke Spanish as my original language, and I'm trying to speak English to you, and I'm studying English, but then next thing you know, I throw Spanish words in there because I don't know what the difference is. They also consider that code switching. So there, like I said, many different ways or many different ways or things you can say as far as what is code switching. So with that being said, and just to use this young man for an example, me as an African American male, everybody knows that I'm really Swedish, but as an African American male, because that's what they say I look like.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of take up on what he was talking about. Whenever he used that example, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's happening? Hey, partner. You know what I'm saying? And it all depends on where you at and who you're around. So that right there is really, code switching in a nutshell. And a lot of people really don't realize that.
And for me, like code switching is more of a presentation. Is how you want people to perceive in the message that you want to send out to individuals. And it's about who your audience is. So it's all in presentation.
So, and I guess right now that's where we're trying to be. And just like he mentioned, how can I be my authentic self? And that's where I want to get to. Why is it do I need to change myself for who I am to become somebody else for whoever I'm trying to assimilate with? So, and I think, and that's what kind of brought this up. Of course, on the screen you say, "Who am I?" Well, who are you? If you have to assimilate if you have to code switch, are you being that person, or why can you not be that person? So that's today's show. So you know what? Let's get into
it. So I guess I could ask you like, so Maranthony, what's the play for today? Or I can say, hey, so let's just jump right into, this topic of interest, code switching. What's the agenda? What's the intention for our topic today? So what's the play?
Hey, little mama, the play is, or Stephanie, today we'll be discussing code switching. And code switching, in the everyday term of code switching, we would like to say that it's me trying to fit into your world. So for whatever reason, we all do it. I mean, well, I would say the vast majority of us do it. And it's because maybe, like I said, maybe I need to try to fit in your world, in an academia world. Maybe I need to do it in some type of business setting. I brought up earlier that military people, they have to do it whenever they go to a job. On my little weekly job, I always ask the question, do you think that there's a difference between military and civilian lifestyle? And the people that's transitioning from the military, going into that civilian workforce, what do you think the differences are? And the first thing they would say is, what would you say?
The conversation, terminology.
All the time.
Culture.
And culture is the biggest one because, and to me, that's that code switching portion of it. Because if I was in the military for 24 years. So whenever once I left high school and went to the military, that's the only thing I know. But then whenever I got out and I transitioned, it was like, okay, then now I'm with a different bunch of people. Some of the stories that I might tell somebody on one end might not be as funny to somebody else because they never experienced it before. Or they always say, curse like a sailor. Well, I mean, I guess I'm the epitome of that one, and I got threw off on the wayside since I don't do it. But there's certain people that just, they cuss all the time. But then if they go into a different place, a different setting, hey, that ain't allowed here.
Yeah, so you coming from like Arkansas and to this big world, you're exposed to a more diverse group of individuals and perspective, right, and different experiences. And so, yeah, you have to adjust and acclimate to have shared experiences with those individuals.
Hey, next time you say mention Arkansas, can you say the natural state of Arkansas?
The natural state of Arkansas.
Yes.
Oh,
that's how it need to be addressed.
Little Arkansas.
All right. So this week's poll, I posted on this week's poll the question of different people define this in different ways. Britannica defines it as a process of shifting from one linguistic code, a language or a dialect, to another, depending on the social context or conversational setting. Many of us only speak one language, but the others who are multilingual might have issues with this due to some of the words not being able to translate into the other language. Other times, we see this term used when someone observes someone change their behaviors, including speech, dress, mannerisms, to conform to different cultural norms.
Hmm.
So, have you knowingly or unknowingly code switched to fit in? If so, why did you feel obligated not to be your authentic self? And so we actually got a few comments through the community that would start talking about this. So we get into some of the comments that we had.
Okay.
One person that mentioned, I think most people feel they have to code switch to fit in, and like I said, at the whole premise of the show, that's basically what we're saying right now. People are doing it because of that very reason. They feel that they need to fit in some type of way. So I kind of agree with that statement there.
Yeah, it's a necessity, whether it's to, in the workforce, if it's to secure our work position, if it's, of safety, racism and the crimes and things like that. So criminality, so it's based out of a necessity from most of us.
All right. Then we have another one right here. Say dress codes are code switching in a sense. I mean, I wouldn't wear business casual every day if given a choice. I'm a gypsy, but it doesn't change who I identify as. So with that one right there, I think I made the comment on Facebook when I seen that comment, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. And I believe if we sit and think about it, whenever we think about schools, whenever we think about businesses, whenever they give you a dress code, how many schools now have an actual uniform that they need to wear to go to school? And then military people, they have a uniform. Why? Why is that? And most people would be like, oh, it's for uniformity. It could be, I would say, uniformity. Plus, it's also because we don't know what the other person is going to show up in, and you're representing a certain person, brand, or whatever.
It's a standard.
Right. I mean, let's go shopping. I'm not gonna mention those stores, but if we go shopping,
Hmm.
you're gonna see somebody who might have some clothes that might not be on the up and up, I would say. And it's just like, wait a minute.
What's on the up and up? What's considered on the up and up, or what may not be considered on the up and up?
Well, if I see that you wearing
Are we talking
underoos,
about bonnets and house shoes?
I was going with, I guess, on the male perspective. I was looking at, if I see your underoos and see that you wearing Captain America today as
Hmm.
an undergarment, I don't want to see that.
Hmm.
We always used to talk about the plumber with his butt crack showing, but hey, at least he working it. And these other people, I'm like, hey man, can I buy you a belt?
Hmm.
And like you mentioned, on the female side with the bonnets, how many places of business are you gonna walk in with that in a professional setting?
Yeah, I've never sat in a meeting with my a bonnet or my hair tied up or protective, you know, and be like, oh yeah, I forgot, or
And so we talking about our authentic self.
you know.
Authentically, yes, that's who we are. But at the same time, I think we also know that there's a limit to what we can do or what we should do in
Or
certain
what
instances.
is considered appropriate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good word. Good word. I'm glad I gave you that word. I know I texted that word to you. So
Yeah, appropriate. Yeah, but who defines appropriate though?
well, we'll get to that part in later on in our show.
Okay.
So here's another comment right here. Living out here out in Germany, the people are more abrasive and less friendly. No, because they are jerks. Not because they're jerks. They just stated themselves and do what they have to do. But if you can get through their shell, they are great. Normally, I'm super friendly and try and spark conversation, and that's not really a thing here. I find myself more abrasive lately, and that is not how I normally am. And
That could
me
just
being
simply
from
mean they minding their own business and I'm minding my own business. No need to code switch.
and being from the South, we're very friendly people. We want to say, "Hey, what's happening? How you doing?"
Hey, y'all. Mm-hmm.
Right. But then if you go to like a northern state, they not doing that too often. So that could be another time whenever you had to code switch to, assimilate with them. It's not like that you gonna change anything.
No.
So let's
I think
see.
code switching also is, if the person it's a necessity if the person has a valued interest, like needing to invest from someone, get something from someone.
Yeah.
So it is a coping mechanism or a coping tool, I should say.
So one of our Facebook users put peace and blessings on there for one of the comments. I'm sorry on the thing it don't have exactly who it is, but thank you. Uh, let's see. Somebody else wrote, "I'm definitely on the meek side and have to put on a tough guy front as not to be the easy target." And uh, this is one of the people I had the pleasure of meeting when I was in Maine. Real good guy. Uh, and and if you watching, can you please send some dessert to me? If you want a banana pudding, you ain't never had a banana pudding like this before. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. But at the same time, let's get back to the show. Uh, he is I guess a meek guy. But being in the military, you don't want to show that soft side to yourself because you would think everybody's going to try to take over you. And I would think that's even like that in the business world as well, on the civilian side. Whenever what they say, if I show you I'm too soft, I'm going to basically get ran over. And I think with this portion right here, that's basically what he was saying was, as a leader, I need to exhibit some type of characteristic to show that I'm just not going to be ran and pushed over.
Mm-hmm.
And so to having to put that tough guy front on, one, it's exhausting. And I think even through all this code switching, that's something that we have to realize. If you're not being your authentic self, how hard is it to be like somebody else or to be something that you're not to fit in?
But some of us are not necessarily comfortable or relaxed in our own imperfections to like be vulnerable in front of individuals. Like, so this code switching is a protective capacity to protect that authentic self, to protect who we are. Because who we are may not be what that person is expecting or what that person perceives or gathers from us. Sometimes we have to keep a little bit of us to us. We can't share everything until we feel very comfortable and able to relax with that person.
And I'm glad you brought that comfortability up because yet again we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the show. And I'm gonna write that one down. Being comfortable around other people.
I was gonna say COM.
Really? Hey, I need you to code switch and be back on your good behavior. All right, how about that?
Look, our conversation earlier about me having a code switch this morning. No, I can't let everybody in on that.
On that side of you. So here's another comment that we have received. I was counseled to look like straightened hair and to sound like my interviewers, my work environment, so I would blend in. That was early in my career. Now I just do me. And to me, whenever I see something like that, I see somebody who said, you know what, I'm gonna be me, and if you like me, good. If you don't like me, good. Because there's no reason for me to shift myself into these different variations or forms of people. Because, like I said, one, it's exhausting. Two, it's just like telling a lie. How do I remain? How do I continue being this person that I'm not, and continue down the line a little bit, thinking, hey, you know what? I think I was this way with this person, but this person over here. But if I'm the straight same person, I like to tell everybody, whichever way you see me on Monday, that's probably gonna be the same you're gonna see me on Friday. No matter who I'm with, I'm gonna still be the same person. And to me, I think I kind of revel in that, to say, look, if I tell you a joke, whatever joke I tell you, with you, and if I have my kids around there, I'm probably gonna tell you the same joke. I might clean it up a little bit, but it might be the same joke. And I think more people will gravitate to that more than just, oh, you know what, you didn't act nothing like this. I can't believe you acting like that.
So everyone has a clean and an explicit version of themselves, and it all goes back depending on the audience.
On the situation, yeah.
Yeah.
And and is that a good thing? I mean, for you, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, in the line of work that I do, I would say, I know when to be reserved, because there's times where I can be my authentic self, but it all goes back to situation, how I'm trying to relate to my audience, to my client. But there's, like that saying, there's a time and a place, right?
And I really think that that's a good thing, because whenever you can relate back to the audience, and for me, I think that's one of the biggest things in the coaching program that I see. And my little tagline, anchored in real life, that's where it usually comes from, is because I might not have experienced every situation, but at the same time, I've probably been in a similar situation that I can go and speak to you about whatever you're going through. So that's always a good thing. And, so just like you said, yes, you don't need to bring that explicit side out to everybody. But one, you got it. And two, yeah, maybe everybody not ready for that.
Not ready for Stephanie 2.0. No.
So here we have another. When I was young, I was taught the different settings. Setting dictated the way you carry yourself, i.e., I wouldn't talk to my teachers the way I talk to my friends. Let's see. So yet again, to your point, that's exactly basically what we were saying. Moving from Cali, being a military brat, the way I spoke it sounded white. To this day, it bothers me that our people consider people that articulate sounds white. And to go on with that same comment, my father retired in Georgia. I would change the way I spoke at school to fit in, but when I was home, I spoke as I normally did. So I'm glad this person put this comment up here. What does that really mean? I haven't heard that. My kids.
I was about to say, use our kids as an example. Like, my kids grew up here in Oak Harbor, Washington, 3% African American. Your kids spent a majority of time here too. So you can use the example of our kids.
So you mentioned that growing up there. Then we went to San Diego, and then we went to Maine. Well, at least you had 3% African American there. We had less than 1% in Maine. But whenever I took my kids, I think we had left from Hawaii, and I think we took the kids back to Arkansas. Some of my family members were like, man, they speak proper. It's like, that's how they speak. What do you want them to do? How do they supposed to talk? But whenever we hear that, you speak white, or you know, you don't, you sound so proper. It's like, no, I mean, I thought that's how proper English go. So, am I being part of the majority or the minority in this thing right here? Because I think we all supposed to get up to a certain level, and that's probably what the K through 12 grade is for us to be on a baseline of how we supposed to speak. And now, of course, our culture and all the other different things that play into it, of course, we're gonna have a different dialect of it. But at the same time, is there a reason why we would label somebody as something outside of that because of the way you talk?
Hmm. That's part of our own culture to how can I put it without it's like our own culture disbanding us in a sense, like that divide within our own culture. Um, what is proper English, what is proper etiquette, yes ma'am, no ma'am, um, in the way you carry yourself, like what is it relational to? Because I think
Yeah.
it's much deeper than just uh, you talk white or you talk proper English. Like it's deeper than that though. That really is a message of like, you think you too good, you all educated and things. I think that's surface level, but what's the deeper issue in that?
And so I guess the question would be, do we supposed to, oh man, it's kind of jumped me into a whole different topic. So, but before I do that, let's share another video here, another
All
little
right.
portion. And this is Key and Peele right here.
Let's go help people customize and sell with Liberty Mutual. Okay, who's
sorry about that? I guess I wasn't queued up in the right spot there.
I think, most famous code switching project that we've done or sketch that we've done is the Obama one, right? I'm a mellow sort of guy. And that's why I invited Luther, my anger translator, to join me here tonight. Hold on to your lily white butts. Everybody's thinking, we can't. If someone could just say it for him. I mean, that's what we landed on. He needs a surrogate. Now we are in a new election season. You guys.
So that was a little piece of it. Now I will forewarn you that their language, but they beat it out. But I think it's a real good example of one of the stuff that we're talking about right here.
Code switching. Code switching is something that I've noticed throughout Key and Peele. I'll take a white wine switch. What? You can't talk like that here. Then we really are in trouble because you sound like Sean Ritter all the time. Big to different. Straight to the N-word. Then we're in the right place.
Oh, we can be walking around and see some, white agents or something. Like, all right, man. All right, we're gonna get that together. And then, but if we get in a room together, it's like,
We ain't doing this deal. We ain't doing this deal. We ain't even doing this deal.
I think it's something that everyone can relate to. You speak a different way at your grandmother's house than you do, and if you get rolled up on in a bad neighborhood.
Why are you talking to me like that?
I talk like that sometimes. One of the
So right there, I think that kind of really sums up of what we're talking about right now, is in the fact that whenever I go to the neighborhood and I go back to the neighborhood, am I going to dress the same? Am I going to look the same? Am I going to talk the same that I am when I go to work?
Mm-hmm.
So
do you wear your khakis and your polos in Arkansas when you go to Arkansas?
Oh, sure enough, definitely. And here I'm gonna give you the reason why. One is because there's always some stereotypical about other people, And like I told my son as he was growing up, well, I told all my kids this is because, especially growing up, in Oak Harbor and growing up in Maine, people have a perception of you already, and I don't want them, whatever perception they have, first impression is always the lasting impression. So with that being said, how I want you to present yourself is, I want you to present yourself, hopefully, of what they expect of you. A kind person, a nice person, person. I actually had a teacher say, you know what, your kids are dressed well. I'm thinking, oh, we in school. Who cares about their dress code? But then it took me back to this moment right here. Is because and it made me question: were you expecting something different, or were you just acknowledging the fact that they dress well? But then, of course, I switched on to my parent hat. Like, well, how they doing in school? I don't care about how they dress. How they doing in school?
Yeah.
Are they the class clown? Are they not talking? Are they talking too much? I mean, what's going on? But these are some of the things that, some people have to wrestle with. Which side do I need to be on? And how do I want to be perceived?
Yeah, it goes back to like code switching being the full presentation.
Yeah.
How you present yourself in your dress, just body language, speech. It's all about presentation. And for the teacher to just, to make them take notice of that, that's in the presentation.
And that's why I was like, okay, then, but then, like I said, I felt good that she did take notice of it and was like, okay, then I'm sending my kid out there into the world with looking decent. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we on low high class level or nothing. I ain't gonna say we down at the bottom nothing, but they presented themselves well. And at the end of the day, that's what I want to introduce how I want to introduce my kids into the community. And so earlier you had mentioned that 8 second. You want to share it with everybody?
What did I call it? The first 8 rule. It's a person makes an impression in the first 8 seconds, within 8 feet of their audience, and by the first 8 words that come out of their mouth. You got 8 seconds to make an impression. Like, that's a deciding factor if somebody wants to fool with you or not. You got 8 seconds.
That's killer. Whenever you sit and think about it.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm gonna jump on to my transitioning when I transition service members, and whenever we start talking about employment, and we talk about resumes. And so I'd always tell people, with your resume, that's the first impression of you. So, the first thing I mention is, I tell people, if you're gonna put attention to detail down there, make sure you look at it. Because if you spell your own name wrong, do you really got attention to detail?
Or you spell attention wrong?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I say, look, make sure everything is presentable, because if this is their first impression of you, once it goes through tracking systems and that resume pop up, they look at that piece of paper between 15 and 30 seconds. And it's just that quick. So just like how you mentioned, in 8 seconds. So if I meet you for the first time and 8 seconds go by, boom, already got an impression of you, man, that's crucial.
You already have an idea of who that person is within that first 8 seconds. And you know what? Our resumes are the biggest code switch.
Hey, don't say that, because hey, that resume was spot on me.
Them 3 pages ain't said nothing about anything.
Hey,
that's a lot of fluff in some of those resumes.
Of course. Hey, but it gets you noticed, and that's basically what you're trying to do. So yet again, when we start talking about that code switching, once we get in front of you,
you got to turn it on.
Yeah. So Miss Ann Wise, hey, thanks for joining in, Miss Wise. She put you all right. First impressions. Those first impressions matter. So regardless of if it's a piece of paper, regardless if it's just you, it matters. Cause I'm telling you, I go into some of these stores. And I keep going to the store thing. I go in some of these stores, and I'm just like, do I really want to do business with you? You know, we'll put it for a restaurant. If you go and sit down in a restaurant, one, the restaurant is dirty. And then you look at the people that come out the back and you see how nasty, you see grime and stuff on them. Do you really want to eat there? But at the same time, we talk about code switching. What if that person be like, oh, you too bougie to eat here?
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. It's certain expectations that I think this is my money. So I want to spend my money in the right spot.
And you're not meeting my expectations. So therefore,
True.
I'm not going to invest my dollars here. Not today anyway, right?
Not today. Not today.
Yeah.
So another time that we was talking about being comfortable. You mentioned that earlier, and I wanted to get to this portion right here of this video. He was talking about the word microaggression.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we talk about code switching, we kind of talked about it throughout the majority of the show on the reason why people need to code switch. But I think with this word microaggression is really going to put you in a different mindset on the reason why. And before I get to that video, Miss Ann, I tell clients if it's in that resume, you better be prepared to talk about it, or it will look like a lie. And I agree. And that's the first thing I tell the same people is it's like, I hate for you to go in there and be like, hey, how you doing? You present yourself well and be like, the first question they say is, can you please tell me about this right here? And you just like, yeah, I don't care how are you going to change yourself? If you lie, you lie. And we're going to get to that word lie in a little bit too. So, but let's get to this video right here. That's talking about microaggression.
Microaggressions are basically the comments or actions that are usually subtle and unintentional, but express a prejudice towards a marginalized group. So, for instance, asking a Hispanic student, hey, where are you from? And they say, oh, I'm from Wichita. And you say, no, but where are you from? That's a microaggression. Or telling an Asian American student that, hey, you really talk English really well. That's a microaggression. Or maybe even telling the African American girl that, hey, you're really cute for a black girl. As if there are levels of cuteness based on race, I guess. But those are major microaggressions, and they become overwhelming. And more, there's becoming more ways of showing your allegiance to one side or the other. Either that be your Make America Great Again hats, or your oldie but goodie Confederate flag, anything. You fill in the blank. The Confederate flag's over everything. But while you show your allegiance, do you think about the discomfort that you may be causing to our minority population due to our current climate, our current political climate? So we really have an opportunity here. The majority can really get rid of code.
All right. So whenever we think about that microaggression, a lot of people really don't, I guess, probably would see it as such. I always like to think of it as just me learning a little bit more about people. I've had friends that's, part of the I would say not seen as the same as everybody else. And so, especially being in the military, I have a wide variety of friends over different races, different cultures. And to me, I always ask questions of them, to learn more about them. And just like the example he shared, hey, where are you from? No, where are you really from? I've had that question asked, and I've even wanted to ask a question like that, but then I've kind of stopped and realized, how would this make this person feel? And most people, I'm not gonna say they code switch with doing it, but they would actually say, yes, I'm from Kansas, but my parents or whatever, they're from Cambodia or something like that. And so, it kind of stopped that question. But have you ever been in a situation such as that, or even, I guess, said something?
No. But I will say, like, microaggression also teaches us a lot about our own self, our introspection. That kind of helps us to flush out our own personal biases, misconceptions, stereotypes that we place on individuals. So it's really not only getting to know about another culture or someone else, this is about learning about ourselves, through looking through that lens of um, our own prejudices. So, yeah.
And that's a good point. I mean, just imagine if we wind up learning more about other people. I was reading something or listening to something. Actually, I think it was the same guy. I know you said you watched it too. I think he has mentioned that in school he was learning about the Muslims, and then he said he ran into a Muslim person at the age of 9. He was 9 years old whenever he was going through this about different religions. He met a Muslim, and then he asked the question, was he Sunni or I can't think of the other one, but he asked which one was he, and the guy looked at him. He was like, this young man is 9 years old, and he asked me about this right here, and he said he actually had a 20-minute conversation with him, talking about his culture, and at that time he told him things about being a Christian, and the other guy told him about things about being a Muslim, and both of them learned a lot about each other. So, with that being said, one of the other things that this young man mentioned was how many people lie.
Mm.
And of course, hopefully everybody raised their hand, because if not, they lied anyway. But the way he used it was he used the word lie.
An acronym?
As an acronym. And L stood for learn. So learn something about somebody else. So you can basically you can broaden yourself, and you can show there's a common interest or mutual respect for each other whenever you learn about somebody else. The I was implement. So have conversations that's going to, like he said, I think especially this past couple of years, we've been having supposedly conversations, but it's usually just been one person talking to the other with all the different pundits and all this other stuff that's going on. But have the conversations with people, with one person speaking, the other person listening, to understand everything. And then the E was embrace. So be willing and enthusiastic about embracing somebody else. So just because I ask and inquire something about you, and then I turn my back on you while you're talking, what good does that do? But if I show passion about it, now that dialogue that we can have with each other is a whole lot better.
And I think by that acronym LIE, that's kind of like the remedy to codes, the necessity to code switch. I guess it would be considered like code breaking, asking for clarity, following through with that clarification of, I think he said, allowing for the storyteller to be their own expert of their own experiences and to accept non-closure. So it's sitting in front of someone, listening, actively listening, and needing more than one single conversation to get a clear understanding or for someone to be understood. So, yeah.
I'm telling you that it would be it would be such a powerful thing. Because I mean, if you sit and think about it, think about all the stuff that we have going on in the world today, and if this group would talk to this group, will we really be in some of the situations that we're in now? And I would probably say no, because we all have our different versions of, and I'm gonna just throw it out as an example. It's not for up for debate or anything like that. But whenever we start right now, one of the biggest things is abortions. One group say a baby is once the baby is conceived, then you basically commit murder. Another group like it should be a person's choice. Wherever you lie on that, most people won't sit down and have a conversation to find out the reason why a person would feel that way, because you're so hard-headed or so stuck into a position to say it's this way or no way. And it's just like, but me personally, I like to sit and listen to both sides of the story, because I think, and then I can make my own decision on what I want to do. But at least I understand the reason why you might feel the way you do, because maybe I just didn't consider that. So whatever, and then so another thing he had brought up with the code switching thing was, if you're a part of that majority and you feel that somebody that's outside that's coming in here, how can you make that person feel, or make them feel how can you invite that person in? Because I think that's one of the biggest things. So no matter if it's, if you're a Christian and you got a Muslim person that's trying to fit in with you, how can you allow that person to assimilate with you? And the biggest thing is, to me, would be that lie.
That communication piece.
Yeah.
I'm always talking about courageous conversations. And when I say courageous conversations, those hard discussions, right? Those conversations that you need to have, like everyone is able to be open, transparent, let their guard down, show vulnerability, and actually share their true narrative of what they've experienced. So just being open to having the conversation.
So if anybody's online, I've been scrolling thing down there. If you want to chat, do a little chat, or want to call in, or join the show, I want to hear from y'all. I mean, I think, we didn't discuss this code switching, I think, pretty much. And the other part that we didn't speak on is as far as the bilingual portion of it. I think, to me, that bilingual portion, whenever we start talking about that code switching in there, it goes to show that if I spoke English, well, if I was native and my language was French, and then as I'm trying to speak English to you, that's me trying to fit in. That's me trying to assimilate to where you are. And if I don't know a word and I use a French word in place of something, to me, being the majority, I would hope that you would be like, oh, you know what? Is this the word that you're looking for? And sometimes I think that's the portion that we kind of skip over. And that's whenever people is with the pushback. And it's like, you know what? Why do I want to deal with this person anymore? Because here I am trying to help them. I'm trying to be a part of them, and they don't want to accept me. So something else to think about. Like I said, if you're part of that majority and you see somebody else trying to fit in with you, why don't you welcome that person in instead of have them try to be like you? We all unique and we all have our own different ways. So why don't we help each other out?
Yep.
So we have got to that point. So no, I don't see any comments right now, but we have got to that point. One of the things that I did mention, we will start putting on our show is people that have businesses. If you're a part of our community on Facebook, we will really want to help you out. And when I say help you out, there's opportunities everywhere. And us helping us as a community, we want to make sure we shine light on your businesses. So I had about 3 people who reached out with their businesses, and I will share one of the first website here.
They understood the assignment.
The assignment was there, huh?
The assignment was there.
So our first business right here is, I know it's kind of hard to see, But what I will do, that is the website right there for Miss Megan. And Miss Megan writes, her business is called Mati Scented Candles. She's located in Ramstein area in Germany. She sells scented soy wax items like container candles, pillar candles, and wax melts. She also make her own coasters out of plaster. She do her best to be eco-conscious. She launched in August, and even though there have been ups and downs and a lot of trial and error, she's happy with how it's going. So I'm telling you, I ordered one of these candles. Like I said, it's a soy-based candle. I ordered one, and I will tell you, I was I really enjoyed it. So, and I told her that I would always hit her back up, especially Christmas time is coming up. So, hey, what better gift than to, use her and get some candles for people.
Mm-hmm.
Our next one is Flourishing Hope. So, Miss Angel, she was part of our show a few months ago. And her business is, like I said, Flourishing Hope Counseling. She is a licensed professional counselor and life coach based in Texas. She offers life coaching sessions worldwide, though. So if that's one of the things that you're looking for, she helps women live more peaceful, courageous lives by teaching self-love, increasing self-confidence, and diminishing fears. She has also written a few books and journals. So you can you can go to her website. I'm sorry. You can go to her website right there, and actually you can order some of her books. You see right there, say free guide for starting counseling. So, hey, what a good way to if you have this, what do we call it, code switching, or are you trying to find or identify who you are as a person, what better way to not do it than through counseling or coaching. And then our last one is home profit taxes. And this person right here is Shane. And Shane writes, they in the tax and accounting services, they help entrepreneurs with paying themselves the correct amount of wages, helping with budgeting, assisting in scaling your business beyond 6 and 7 figures, all while keeping in compliance with legal loopholes. Best part is completely virtual, so you never have to leave home, your business, or vacation. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need some help with tax and accounting, you can hit Shane up right there, and that's the website, profitfirsttaxes.com. All right. So, like I say, we call it on Saturdays. Please go on the website, on Facebook, under the community page. And, if you have a business, please put it out there, because that's what this is for. This platform is for everybody else to get their business out there, to get the word out there, because I'm quite sure when I first started out as a business owner, I was looking for somebody. And the bad thing about it was during tax season. So I can tell you, it wasn't too many CPAs out there that was taking clients on, because they was hustling already. So what perfect opportunity. And I know Megan had reached out, even though she was in Germany. She hit Shane up to find out if they did taxes overseas, and Shane replied and said, yes, they do. They can help her out over there. So yet again, if you need somebody and you're not even in the local area, go for it. All right.
All right.
So Stephanie, we have reached the witching hour, and it's about that time.
Yeah.
So trying to find out what parting words do you have for anybody?
All right. Every superhero has this superhero identity and a civilian identity. So a lot of their lives are about code switching. That is a saying from, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Jean Louise Yang. So we should all think of code switching as our superpower when needed.
Okay. All right.
Okay, what you got, Mar Anthony?
I ain't got too much, but I'm gonna put it what Jane Elliott put it. She mentioned we don't need a melting pot in this country because everybody always say that's what the United States is. They say we need a salad bowl. In the salad bowl, you put in the different things. You want the vegetables, the lettuce, the cucumbers, the onions, the green peppers to maintain their identity so you can appreciate the differences. So with that being said, hey y'all, let's stop trying to assimilate with everybody and then try to jump on the bandwagon with the herd mentality. I need to fit into this right here. No, be yourself. Be your authentic self. You being your authentic self, you're gonna bring a whole lot more to the table than the same people that's around you. So I don't have anything else.
No. Yeah. So if they're looking for any of your services, Marie Anthony, you're in the life coaching business. So where can they reach you?
You know what? I just stopped. I stopped taking clients on. I just said, no, this is not the thing. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, like we didn't have that conversation. What?
So if you would like any help with my services, that's the website right there. Speak to my heart, lifecoach.com. I do have a little calendar on there. And the only thing you need to do, you can sign up for a free consultation and we'll find out if we're compatible. If we are compatible with each other, then we can move on. I'll have 3 different sessions. I call it the sprint. Whenever that's basically a 3-month session. I have the walk, which is a 6-month session, and then we have the crawl, which is a year session. So whatever type of goal that you're looking for, and whatever time you think that you might need to get to that goal, that's how I broke the packages down. So go to speaktomyheartlifecoach.com, sign up. And what about yourself?
You can reach me at www.thenarrativeshift.com or through email, stephanie@thenarrativeshift.com. I only practice in the state of Washington and not licensed in any other state. And I do offer free 15-minute telephone consultations to see if I am a good therapeutic fit in meeting your presenting needs. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest state of Washington, I'm here to help.
All right. And even if you don't hit her up, I mean, I'm quite sure she probably got some resources. And the same thing for me. If there was a person that I felt that I could not assist, or you felt that I'm not the right person, I am here for resource and networking. So I can also help in that category as well. So I'm not no greedy person. Just be like, oh, you're not gonna use my services, and I ain't gonna help you, and nothing like that. So I think we both in the business of trying to make sure we help people meet the goals that they're setting for themselves.
Yep.
Well,
more so for me in an ethical and legal way. Yes, I will refer out. That's my code.
So, next week we're gonna be continuing this series right here, and next week's show is gonna be on ego. Man. So, if you're part of the community, be looking out for that question, and then so we can get some comments, some feedback from that right there. If you're not part of our community, please join us on Facebook. The Dorche Expansion Community is how you can look us up, and that's where we'll be at.
Yeah.
So. That being said, I'm out of here, and she said she ain't got nothing else. So that's what you said. All right, then, and we out of here.
Bye.